With the fifth Sunday in Easter, we have plenty that we can chew on, starting with the first reading, the choosing of the first deacons of the church, making sure that those who are most in need were taken care of. And even in that reading, it reveals to us that even in those early days, there were divisions among the people, at least in terms of, the Greeks versus the Hebrews. It was almost like there was, maybe not a rivalry, but there were questions entering people's minds. Are we getting the same treatment that the other group is getting? So, the early apostles said, "Yep, we're gonna make sure that everything's covered. We're gonna ordain these deacons and make sure that they take care of you." So, then moving on, the second reading we talk about the priesthood of the baptized. We recognize that when we're baptized, Jesus draws us into His very divine life and gives us the power to offer our lives in sacrifice for the good of the world, right? United with Jesus, we're offering ourselves in sacrifice, that we may be made holy, that others may be made holy. And that's what it means to be a priest, to offer the sacrifice. Well, we're all priests insofar as we offer the sacrifice of our lives and deeds of loving service. So that's just a really important line for us to take deeply into our hearts. And as well, the gospel reading, so familiar, especially if you've been to a funeral or two. In my Father's house, there are many dwelling places. If there were not, what I've told you, that I am going to prepare a place for you. And I've said it again, it's ever more profound every time I say it. The recognition that Jesus is using an image of marriage, as He describes this to His apostles. And at the time of Jesus, a bride and groom would be betrothed. They would be legally married, and the groom would go back to his father's house to prepare a home, an addition, if you will, for the newlyweds to take residence in. And then he would go back to his bride's family's place after it was finished. They celebrate the reception, then they'd process up to the Father's house to begin their new life together. And Jesus speaks of this in terms of His bride, the church. He's gone on ahead of her to prepare a place in the Father's house for his entire bride, the church. So it's just a beautiful image. And the grappling of Philip with the desire to see more. Here you have Jesus right in front of him, but he wants to see the Father too. And loop all the way back through all of this. In our baptism, in our relationship with Jesus, He is revealing to us. He is the face of the Father in heaven. So if we've known Jesus, we know the Father as well. And if we know the love and the mercy and the tenderness of Jesus, then we know the love and the mercy and the tenderness of the Father as well. So yeah, like I said, there's a ton that we can chew on, and there it is, pulling out the points. I'll let the Holy Spirit do the rest in your heart, but may the Holy Spirit stir in your heart this week as you reflect on these beautiful treasures that God has given to us in the Scriptures.